Hello, welcome to Kapambo Python Basic Course. Yes, we've started looking at variables, and we've known that when dealing with variables we use assignment operators, which is equal sign to assign an object to a variable. Yes, if you are watching this tutorial because you are looking for a solution to your course, then I prefer you skim through this video and harvest a good code. And if you are watching this tutorial as a beginner, then I prefer you watch through this video step by step and get started very well to become a web designer or a data scientist. Yes, in this tutorial we are going to talk about lists, how we work with lists in Python, and also we are going to look at loops, the for loop and the while loop in Python at the end of this tutorial. So stay tuned, or you can just skim through this tutorial and harvest the final codes. So far in Python we know that when creating a list we normally use the square bracket to create a list, or we use the list then the double bracket when creating a list. So for example, let's say list.py, enter. Yes, so when we want to create a list in Python, you just name the variable that you want to say. For example, variable called homies, then we assign it is equal to, then the list is here. Or we can create another list like this, homies, then is equal to list, then we use the double brackets like that. So this is a form, this first one is a type of a list, this one is also another type of list. So but you want to use this upper one, the first one. I prefer the upper one. So in this list, when you want to write objects inside a list, we can use the double quotes or the single quotes. So here we are going to use the single quotes. So here we want the first item in this list, let's say it's Z. Then when you want to separate the items in the list, we use the comma. And another item here, we say it's, let's say another item is boot rows. Then another item here, let's say it's Onyango. Then another item here, let's say another item here to be Steve. Then in a list we can have got different types of data types. So let's say that here we have got 25. That one is a data type integer, and another data type, let's say in a list we have got, so this is a string. Onyango is a string, Butros is a string, Steve is a string, 25 is an integer. Let's say that here we have got a boolean. Let's say this one is true is also found in a list. So let's say this is a list now, Butros 1 2 3 4 5 6, so a list of 6 items. So after writing a good list like this, we can print it out and see how this list appear. So in the console, to the console we say print, then say list, the console, not list, we can print the name of the list was homies. So homies, print homies, and say save, Ctrl S, then run the project. Homies, what is this one? Run the project and see. So here is the list that we've created in Z, Butros, Onyango, Steve, 25, true. So true is a boolean. So after printing this list like this, and when we want to print this list, each and every item on the list on its way without using these quotes and the commas, we can just come here and say, in this list we can do the indexing. And the indexing is just a form of accessing items in the list. Indexing is for example, index is used in the print function, and it also uses the number which means the index. For example, the index here is, this one is 0 index, this one is index 1, this is index 2, this is index 3, this is index 5, this is index 6. So indexing here we use it in the print function. So here we want to say print the console, print then homie print homie, print homie, then we say it uses the bracket, the square bracket, this bracket. So we say print homie index 0, then we come again and say print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So index 5 is the last. Homies here is homies. Print homies index 5. So that's the last. So we can save this program, Ctrl S, remove this from the console, and run this program and see how it's going to print out the output. So here, this was the list, and now the output is here. It has printed the outputs as a list now. A list coming down, drop down. This one Onyango, Nze, Boutros, Onyango, Steve, 25, and True. So the console has brought it like that. That's how we can print a list. But there is also another way of printing the list by using of loops. That one we'll look at that one later in this tutorial, how we can print the thing using loops. Same issue here, we can still do the negative indexing, whereby we'll start from -1, -2, -3, -4, whereby the -1 stands for the last item inside the list, -2 is the second last item inside the list, like that. For example, we can do the output here. We can see the simple program of starting that. So here we can do the negative indexing. Let's say print into bracket, then say homies, then bracket, let's say -1, then again print into bracket homies, bracket negative, and again we can see the range of indexes inside the list by just, for example, let's say the range of indexes, let's just say, for example, let's say x is equal to homies, x is equal to homies. Then let's say the range of indexes. The range, let's start from Boutros to 25. So the range from Boutros is 1 to 25, 1, 2, 3, 4. So range here is range. We use the square bracket. Then let's say 1. Then full colon to 4. Then let's say print x. Let's say print x. Then let's save this program. Ctrl S. Then let's run the program and see how the range will appear. So the range from Boutros from 1 to 4 is Boutros, Onyango, and Steve. So this is the range from 1. So it starts from this one and ends at this. We don't include the 25. That's the range. So we can see. Let's do away with this one and see another project with the list. We can add item inside the list. So when adding item inside the list, we use the append method. We can use the append method, or we can use the insert method. By using the append method, you will add an item at the end of the list. But when you use the insert method, the item will be added at the specified place, the specified index. For example, you can specify, you can decide to add an item at index 2 here. That one, if you want to add an item here, that one, use the insert method. But if you want to add it at the end, you can just use the append method, which will add it at the end next to this true value, the true value here. So let's write a simple append method. We just say homies dot append, homies dot append. Then we say in the bracket there we should specify the guys that you want to add at your homies. So let's say append in bracket, then quote, then append. You want to add, let's say Arun or Julie. So yeah, you want to add Arun or Julie. So we want to see how that append works. Homie.append Arun or Julie. So at the console, we want to say print homies, print homies. the console, print homies, and save, Control S, and run the project and see how the append works. So here you've seen the output is here. The original was this one, Mzee Boutros Onyango Steve 25 true, and the new list is Mzee Boutros Onyango Steve true, Arun or Julie. So this is how append function works. But if you want to, when you want to insert at any place, you just say homies.insert, then you say here the bracket homie.insert, then the bracket, then specify the place where you want to add the item. So for example, here I want to add the item, this is index 0, index 1, index 0, 1, 2. So let's say you want to add the item at index 2. So here we'll say 2, then comma, then say the person you want to add. So the person you want to add, let's say you want to add Aboge, or you want to add Aboge or Jonah. So at the console, we'll say print homies, print homies, and let's see where the new item has been added. So let's say Control S and run the program. Control S, run the program. So as you can see, the program has added Aboge or Jonah in there. This is the first, second, this is the 0 index, first index, then the second index where Aboge or Jonah has been added. As you can see, Python is dealing with the list so cheaply. And again, when dealing with the list, we can still remove any part of the list, remove anything from the list. You can delete anything from the list by just using the term. There is pop. You can use the pop method to delete the last item inside the list, or you can use the term remove method to remove any specified item that you want to remove. When you specified on this item you want to remove, for example, when you specify that you want to remove a bogey, you can remove a bogey by using the remove method, or you can use the del to delete the specified index in the list. So for example, when you want to delete item by using the pop, and you want to remove the last item from the list, you just say homies dot pop, then put the bracket, then say print homies, print homies, then say Control S and run the program here. So in this one, as you can see, we've removed Arun or Julie in the program. So we have removed Arun or Julie using the pop method. Pop method removes the last item from the list. So as a data scientist, you will use the pop method to remove any last item that's inside the list. So when you want to delete specified item inside the list, we say homies dot remove, then in the remove here, homies dot remove, let's say 25, then the console will say print homies, then we'll save Control S, then run the program. As you can see, the final output is here. We have removed 25 from the list. Here we have removed. We can do many things inside the list. For example, we can still get to know the length of the list. We can get to know the length of the list by just using the length method, the length function. So for example, let's say getting the length from the list here, we'll just say print length, then homies. That's the tag, the code for getting the length is there. Print inside it, we'll say length, then then we can say homies, print the length of the homies. So we'll save this program, Ctrl S. After saving, we'll just run and get to see the length of the program. So the length of this thing is 6. So for example, so you see the final was this one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the length is 6. Length of the list 6. So after getting the length of the list, and hope you are following. And if you have got a problem, don't hesitate. Just leave a comment below this video. I promise I'll come back to you and show you everything. Just stay tuned. And now let us go to the loops. Let us see how we work with the loops in Python. So what's a loop? Loop. So loops, in my own understanding, loops is just going through the list step by step. Going through the list step by step. That is loop. So for example, for instance, let's remove all this. Let's delete them. Delete all this one. Yes, let's delete all those ones and save this program again. So when we want to deal with a loop, for example, we want to use the for loop, which will access all items inside the list. We want to deal with this list. Instead of printing all those print index this, we can just say, by using the loop, we can just say for print homies. Let's save and see how this will work. So as you can see, this loop using for loop will just print this one once without saying print this, print index 0, print index 1, 2. This one will just print it once without writing many codes. So this is why using loop is somehow cheaper and save on time than using those other processes. Those processes may also bring lots of confusion and errors inside your project. Just use this simple to print the list step by step. While loop, while loop will allow a program to loop through will allow looping to take place when the condition is still true, and if the condition turns to be false, then the loop will terminate. So let us see at while loop. Let us say via while dot py. So this is another program. So for example, we want to see how while loop work by demonstrate this. Let's say that, for example, we have got a number of series. Let's say we have got party. People do attend party many times. For example, you can attend party in a week. In a month, you can attend a party almost 6 times. Somebody don't attend. So let's say party. Let's give it a variable. This variable, let's name this variable party. So this variable, let's assign it a number variable is equal to, let's say is equal to 0. So party is equal to 0 because some of us don't go to party frequently. They can even stay for a year without going to a party. So party is equal to 0. So for example, so if party is equal to 0, so we want to print to the console as long as party is less or equal to 6. We want to print to the console as long as party is equal or less than 6. So let's say that for that one to take place, let's say while party is less than or equal to 6 colon, that is a condition. If party is less than or equal to 6, then colon, then now let's say print party. So if you save this program like this, and run it, the program will just say 0 0 0 0. It will execute even for a year without stopping. So for the, let's see, the program will just say 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 2 there. So you can see it's still executing. As you can see down here, it is still executing. The program is still running. It is still running. It can run as long as you have not said the increment. So there is no increment, it's still 0. So this guy don't have an increment, it is still stagnant every year. No party. So for us to write this program the way we wanted to write it, we have to include an increment value. So to include an increment value here, we'll just say that to include an increment value, let's stop this one first. Let's remove this one. So to include an increment value, the first was party was 0. Let's say party it was 0. Let's say is equal to party plus 1. So 1 will be the increment 0. So if party was 0, the other one will be party plus 1, 0 plus 1, which will be 2, and another one also will come 1, which is the other 1 plus 2. It will execute like that up to 6. So let's save, and it will execute and stop at 6. So it has stopped at 6 here. After it has stopped at 6 here, that means the while loop is functioning. This is how you work with the while loop. Yes guys, hope you are following me since the beginning. For we are just beginners. We are beginners. So if you want to be a good data scientist or a web developer, please just subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe for more basic codes. I'll be posting frequently, and we will be developing. We'll be even consulting. If you think something is wrong, if you are consulting me through commenting down there, I will be replying to you. We'll be chatting, saying anything that we can do to improve our sites on data science and web development.